Yeah, and of course, thank you for showing up for yourselves. This is what it's all about. And I want to talk of one of the themes for me, what it means to show up, and also a kind of a New Year's resolution that I've kind of decided a bit in the last few days, and also that I've been kind of been willing to do for a while now, which is basically uh, learning to be vulnerable. So the theme is vulnerability, the ability to be vulnerable. So what does that mean? Basically means cutting the bullshit. And often vulnerability can be seen as kind of weakness, as not being strong, as being petty or stuff like that. And for me, vulnerability is completely opposite. It's it's getting out of your comfort zone and really showing yourself for who you are. It's like I said before, it's basically cutting the bullshit, cutting the judgment, cutting the images, cutting the stories we tell ourselves. It's really learning how to be true to oneself. That's what it means for me to vulnerable. Maybe you can just also inquire into what it means to be vulnerable. I often describe meditation as learning to be intimate with oneself, learning all of the different faces, accepting who you are, going into curiosity. It's basically, just putting a light on who you are. And when you put that light on, you can put light on some vulnerable stuff. And it's easy to look away from it. I don't want to look. And it's easy to get caught in the motions of what you're looking at. So the idea is not to get caught in the stories or the judgments. It's really to feel what's going in, feel the process. And through the feeling, you're being vulnerable with yourself, you're opening up. And then when you feel the process, and in that moment, you can really be curious of your process. You can really and try to understand who you are, try to look at all the subtleties. And we're not trying to go in mentally, but really go in physically, go into a visceral state, really trying to deepen our understanding through sensation. So that's the main idea here. And what I've noticed is when we're vulnerable, when we open up, when we talk through space of warmth, of care, um, it creates a whole different relationship to people you're talking to. We're not talking, always about, it's, of course, when we talk to various people that we don't know, we've got to have different states of conversation. But when you speak from a state of the heart, of the openness, of vulnerability, the contact and the conversation takes a different turn. And it gives also a possibility to the other person to open up. When you've got two souls really open up and talking to one another, it's really, really beautiful. It's really deep, and it really creates a sense of contact and of belonging that I think we all desire and search for. And that's what's amazing with this show up community, is that every time we're involved in basically in showing up for oneself, we're learning how to be vulnerable, and we're learning to open up to the world and to look deep into our shit and to create some real contacts. It's like jumping in the water. It's all hard, hard jumping into cold water, but actually you're facing your fears and you're showing a part of yourself that isn't easy either. So yeah, so I'll finish off with a big thank you all for showing up for yourselves and for taking time to be vulnerable, and which is a beautiful way of basically living.